There comes a moment in every life when it feels like everything is falling to pieces. You look around and nothing seems to make sense anymore. The ones you trusted have walked away. The plans you built with care have crumbled right before your eyes. The prayers you whispered seem to echo into silence. And deep inside you begin to wonder if God is still listening. You sit there quietly, your heart aching, your mind full of questions, your soul softly crying, "God, where are you?" But listen closely. God has not overlooked you. He has not turned away from you. When life feels like it's breaking you apart, that's often the moment God is preparing to step in and transform everything. Because when He allows things to fall apart, it's never to destroy you. It's to rebuild you stronger. Sometimes God lets the walls collapse so He can reveal the power of His hands that will lift you higher than before. He lets the door close so He can open a better one. He removes people who betrayed you so that your next chapter won't be polluted by their deceit. You may not see it now, but every painful moment, every silent season, every delay has been part of a divine setup. God is preparing to show you what He can do when human power runs out. Sometimes God waits until the very last second to move. Not because He enjoys watching you struggle, but because He wants to show you that He alone is the source of your breakthrough. When everything else fails, when the money dries up, when the help disappears, when the road seems blocked, that's when God says, "Now it's my time." And when God steps in, He doesn't just fix the situation, He transforms it. He turns shame into honor, pain into purpose, tears into triumph. He takes the very thing that was meant to break you and uses it to bless you. There are moments when you cry, not because you are weak, but because your spirit feels crushed under the weight of waiting. But listen carefully. Waiting is never wasted when you wait on God. Some of the most powerful miracles happen after long seasons of silence. When it seems like God is doing nothing, He is actually preparing everything. He is working behind the curtain, shifting hearts, arranging circumstances, aligning opportunities, and orchestrating divine connections that you can't even see yet. God is not ignoring you. He is developing you. He is teaching you to trust Him when there's no sign of progress. He is building endurance in your soul, faith in your heart, and peace in your spirit. Because when the breakthrough finally comes, you'll look back and realize the struggle was necessary. The tears were necessary. The waiting was necessary. If God had stepped in too soon, you would have never learned what faith truly means. There's something sacred about the moment when you've done everything you can and still nothing changes. That's when you stop fighting in your own strength and surrender completely to God's will. And that's the exact point where divine power enters your life. God doesn't move through panic. He moves through peace. When you let go and trust Him, when you stop trying to force what isn't meant to be, God begins to open doors that no one can shut. Maybe right now you feel surrounded by problems. The bills are piling up. The relationships are breaking. Your mind is full of fear. You look at your situation and say, "There's no way out." But God is whispering to your heart right now, "I am the way out." You might not see the path, but God has already made one. You might not know how things will change, but God already knows. The same God who made a way for you in the past will do it again. The same God who lifted you before will lift you again. You didn't come this far to be abandoned. You came this far because God carried you here, and He's not finished yet. When God steps in, the impossible becomes possible. When He decides to act, no power on earth can stop Him. He can take a barren land and make it bloom. He can take an empty heart and fill it with peace. He can take a life that seems ruined and write a story of redemption so powerful that it silences every critic. God doesn't just repair, He restores. He gives back what was stolen and adds more. He takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it into a testimony of His glory. There are times when you wonder why God allowed certain people to leave your life. But sometimes separation is divine protection. God removes people not to punish you, but to preserve you. He heard conversations you didn't hear. He saw intentions you couldn't see. So instead of crying over who left, start thanking God for who stayed, and more importantly, for who He's bringing next. God's replacements are always better than what was lost. When one chapter closes, another greater one begins. Maybe you've been walking through a season where nothing seems to be changing. You've been faithful, but the doors remain closed. You've been praying, but the silence continues. Don't give up now. The darkest night always comes before the brightest morning. Sometimes it's right before the breakthrough that life gets the hardest. That's because the enemy always fights hardest when he knows God is about to step in. The pressure you're feeling is a sign that the promise is near. When God decides to move, it happens suddenly. One moment you're struggling, the next moment everything changes. One phone call, one opportunity, one encounter, and everything turns around. God doesn't need months to fix what's broken. He can do in one moment what would take you years. That's the power of divine timing. You may feel like you're running out of time, but God never runs out of power. He is never late. He is always right on schedule. Some of you have been carrying a heavy burden, pretending to be strong, but inside you're breaking. You smile in public, but cry in secret. You keep saying, "I'm fine," but your heart whispers, "I can't take this anymore." I want you to know God sees those tears that never fall. He hears the prayers you can't even put into words. And He's saying to you today, hold on a little longer, I'm about to step in. You don't need to understand how, just believe that He will. God has a way of turning humiliation into elevation. He has a way of using rejection as redirection. What others meant to hurt you, God will use to help you. What they said would destroy you will actually define your destiny. Every painful chapter is preparing you for the glory that's coming. When God turns your situation around, even your enemies will have to admit that it was only God who could have done it. You may have been through betrayal, heartbreak, or loss, but God never wastes pain. Every tear you've cried has been counted. Every sleepless night has been seen. And in His perfect time, He will repay. He will restore peace where there was confusion, joy where there was sorrow, strength where there was weakness. The same place where you were broken will be the very place He blesses you. The same people who mocked you will witness your victory. God often works in silence because He is building something that can't be rushed. While you're asking when, God is preparing the how. While you're asking, God is shaping the what. Don't confuse silence for absence. Silence is a sign that something great is forming. Like a seed buried in the ground, it looks dead. But deep beneath the soil, life is growing. Your season of harvest is coming. You've been planted, not buried. Faith is not believing that everything will go your way. Faith is believing that God's way is always better. You may not understand why certain things had to happen, but one day you will look back and say, "Now I see why God did it this way." He knows what you need more than you know what you want. He removes what would harm you. He delays what would destroy you. And He replaces what would have distracted you from your destiny. Don't let your current situation fool you. You might feel forgotten, but you are favored. You might feel rejected, but you are being redirected. You might feel delayed, but you are being developed. God is still in control. He's still writing your story, and He's not done with you yet. Every disappointment is preparing you for divine appointment. Every closed door is leading to the right one. When you can't see the hand of God, trust His heart. When you don't feel His presence, remember His promise. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Even when you walk through the valley of darkness, He walks beside you. You may not see Him, but He is there guiding, protecting, and fighting for you. When you can't hold yourself together, He holds you. When your strength fails, His strength begins. God specializes in impossible situations. He loves stepping into hopeless places because that's where His glory shines brightest. If you feel like your situation has no solution, that's exactly where God wants to show you His power. When everyone else gives up, He steps in. When every plan fails, He steps in. When you say it's over, He says, I'm just beginning. Remember this. Your situation is not permanent. The same God who brought you through storms before will bring you through this one too. You didn't survive all that pain to be left in defeat. You are still here for a reason. There's a purpose behind your pain and a blessing waiting at the end of this test. You may not see it yet, but one day you will look back and realize that everything worked together for your good. Sometimes God changes your situation suddenly. Other times He changes you first because before He brings you into the next season, He has to make sure you are ready to handle it. He doesn't want to bless you beyond your character. So if it's taking time, it's not punishment, it's preparation. You are being molded, strengthened, purified. And when the right time comes, no one will be able to stop what God has planned for you. When God steps in, your story changes. The same people who look down on you will be amazed at what God does through you. The same situation that looked impossible will become your testimony. The same tears that broke you will water your next harvest. What was meant for your downfall will become the foundation of your destiny. There are moments in life when it feels as if the heavens are silent and your prayers vanish into the air. You've cried until your voice broke, and still there was no visible sign of change. You've done what was right, yet trouble found you. You've waited faithfully, yet the breakthrough hasn't come. But listen closely. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean God isn't moving. God often works in ways beyond what the human eye can perceive. What looks like stillness to you is strategy to Him. What looks like delay to you is divine design. When God steps in, He doesn't merely change your circumstances, He changes everything connected to you. Sometimes God hides His work from your sight because if you saw everything He was doing behind the scenes, you wouldn't be able to handle the magnitude of His plan. He's arranging pieces that don't make sense right now, but one day they will fit together perfectly. Every closed door, every sudden ending, every lonely night, all of it has been part of a divine pattern. God never wastes a moment of your pain. He collects every tear, every sigh, every silent prayer. You may have been misunderstood by people, but you are deeply understood by God. Do you know why God sometimes lets you hit rock bottom? Because when you hit the bottom, you finally realize that God is the rock at the bottom. When you lose what you thought you couldn't live without, you discover that God is all you ever needed. When everything else fades, His presence remains. And in that realization comes peace, the peace that surpasses understanding. The peace that tells your heart you are safe in the hands of God. You must remember that when life falls apart, it is not always punishment. Sometimes it is positioning. God will allow certain things to fall so that you can rise differently. He will take what you thought was an ending and reveal it as a beginning. That betrayal that crushed you, it was the push that brought you closer to your destiny. That failure that embarrassed you, it was the lesson that prepared you for something greater. That silence from heaven, it was the training ground for deeper faith. God is not limited by what limits you. People may walk away, resources may run out, but God's power never weakens. When He decides to turn a situation around, He does not ask for permission. He does not need approval. He does not consult your enemies. He simply speaks, and what was impossible becomes possible. One word from God can shift the entire course of your life. One act of His favor can accomplish what years of human effort could not. Do not let temporary circumstances make you doubt eternal truths. God's faithfulness does not end where your feelings begin. Just because the road is rough does not mean the promise is revoked. God's timing is not denial, it is direction. Sometimes the waiting is not about the promise. It's about preparing you to carry the weight of what's coming. If you receive too early, you won't appreciate it. If you enter too soon, you won't be ready for it. God loves you too much to bless you before you are built. When God turns a situation around, He does it in a way that silences every voice that doubted you. The very thing that was meant to bury you becomes the proof that God was with you all along. People who spoke against you will have to acknowledge His hand on your life. That's how complete His deliverance is. He doesn't just bring you out, He brings you out with evidence. You may have lost much, but you haven't lost God. And as long as you have God, you have enough to start again. Don't let despair convince you that it's over. God can breathe life into dry bones. He can call things that do not exist as though they do. He can turn a forgotten life into a living testimony. He can give you beauty for ashes, not by replacing what was burned, but by showing you what He can create from the ashes themselves. You see, transformation begins the moment you stop asking, "Why did this happen?" and start asking God, "What are you teaching me through this?" When you shift your perspective from frustration to faith, everything changes. The same storm that looks like destruction can become a divine classroom. Every difficulty carries within it the seed of revelation. The question is, will you let God teach you, or will you keep resisting what He's trying to do? Sometimes God has to separate you from comfort to strengthen your character. He removes the familiar to awaken the divine within you. You can't walk into a new season while holding on to an old mindset. God is calling you to rise higher, to think differently, to believe more boldly. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. And preparation is rarely comfortable. But when God finally steps in, you will realize that the pain had purpose. The truth is, breakthroughs are born in moments of deep struggle. Every great victory requires a valley. Every divine turnaround begins with pressure. So if you are under pressure right now, don't curse it. It's a sign that something powerful is forming. Diamonds are made under pressure. So are destinies. God knows exactly how much you can bear, and He will never allow the weight to crush you, only to shape you. There will be times when you question everything, even your own strength. You'll feel tired, unseen, and forgottenable, but in those very moments, God is closer than your breath. He doesn't always shout. Sometimes he whispers. He doesn't always change the storm. Sometimes he changes you in the storm. His silence doesn't mean he's absent. It means he's observing your faith. And when he steps in, he doesn't just fix the problem, he rewards your trust in it. Many people give up right before the turnaround. They walk away one prayer too early, one step before the miracle. Don't be one of them. Hold on when it hurts. Stand firm when everything shakes. Because when God finally moves, he moves suddenly. The very situation that looked like your defeat will become your deliverance. What was once your pain will become your platform. What was once your burden will become your blessing. God loves sudden reversals. He loves to prove that he alone holds power over time, circumstance, and destiny. Remember how quickly things can change when his hand moves. One decision, one encounter, one shift. And what was dark becomes light. What was blocked becomes open. What was cursed becomes blessed. That's the mystery of God's intervention. He doesn't need to explain himself. He simply acts, and the world stands still in awe. So don't measure your life by what you see right now. What you see is temporary. What God is doing is eternal. He may be quiet, but he's not inactive. He may seem slow, but he's never late. There's a divine clock that runs by heaven's timing, not human impatience. When that clock strikes the appointed hour, everything changes. You won't have to force it, fight for it, or fear it. It will simply happen because God said it would. There's a time to weep and a time to rejoice, and God controls both. The tears you cry now are watering the soil of your next season. Don't despise the pain. It's preparing you for the promise. Every sleepless night, every disappointment, every lonely season has a purpose. You're not losing, you're learning. You're not broken, you're being rebuilt. You're not forgotten, you're being positioned. There will come a day when you will look back on everything you went through and say, "Now I understand." You'll see that what you thought was rejection was actually direction. What you thought was delay was divine timing. What you thought was punishment was preparation. When God intervenes, he brings purpose to your pain. He turns confusion into understanding, weakness into wisdom, and sorrow into unshakable strength. So lift your head high, wipe away your tears, and take a deep breath. God's work in your life isn't finished. The same hand that steadied you in the fire will raise you up at the appointed time. The same power that sustained you will carry you into victory. What seems shattered today will soon shine with beauty. What feels empty now will soon overflow with blessing. When God steps in, every force that once stood against you loses its strength. Every chain falls. Every burden lifts. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep holding firm. Because no matter how dark the valley seems, God still reigns above it all. No matter how dark the night, the light of his promise still burns. The world may change. People may change. But God never changes. He is faithful. He is present. He is powerful. And when he decides to turn your situation around, not even time itself can stop him. You may be standing in the middle of uncertainty, but that's where faith grows best. When you can't see the outcome but still choose to trust, that's when you invite divine intervention. You're not fighting alone. God is standing beside you. Every step you take in faith is a declaration that you believe his word more than you're worried, and that faith will not go unrewarded. It doesn't matter how long you've been waiting or how hopeless it looks. One divine moment can rewrite your story. God can turn your mourning into laughter, your fear into courage, your waiting into winning. He can raise you from the dust and place you among those you never dreamed of standing with. He can use your brokenness as the very bridge to reach others who are hurting. That's how God works. He turns pain into purpose and trials into triumphs. There are moments when life feels unbearably heavy, when it seems the world has turned its back on you and you wonder if God is even listening. I want to tell you today in the deepest part of your soul that God is not distant. He is closer than your own heartbeat. He is aware of every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night. The fact that you are still here is proof that God has not given up on you. He has not forgotten you. And when the time is right, He will move with such power that your circumstances will change in ways you cannot even imagine. Sometimes the turning point in your life comes not through people, not through effort, not through luck, but through the hand of God. He moves in ways that defy logic. He acts when you least expect it. He delivers when hope seems lost. The very thing that has been weighing you down, the burden that has made you question your worth, is the instrument God will use to lift you higher. What appears as destruction is often a divine rearrangement. What appears as loss is often preparation for gain. God specializes in taking the broken pieces and creating masterpieces. You might have been walking through seasons where every door you knock on seems closed. Every relationship you invest in seems to crumble. Every plan you make seems to fail. But God sees beyond your failures. He sees the divine pattern in your life that you cannot yet see. He knows the exact moment to act, the exact resources to provide, the exact words to bring deliverance. His timing is perfect, even when your patience is tested. And when He steps in, the turnaround is complete, undeniable, and unmistakable. Do not underestimate the power of persistence and faith. Keep praying, keep seeking, keep trusting. Even when your heart is weary and your spirit feels heavy, even when the path is unclear and the night seems endless, keep believing. God's interventions are never late, but they often arrive after human effort has reached its limit. That's when you recognize that it wasn't by your own strength, it wasn't by your own wisdom, and it wasn't by chance. It was God. When He moves, the mountains shift. When He acts, the chains break. When He speaks, circumstances obey. There will be people who doubt you. There will be people who betray you. There will be people who laugh at your struggles and shake their heads at your dreams. But remember this, God does not need approval from anyone. His power does not depend on human recognition. He is orchestrating a victory that no human can prevent. The very circumstances meant to discourage you will become evidence of His glory. When God steps in, nothing remains the same. The situation that seemed hopeless will become a testimony of triumph. Every difficulty you face is an opportunity for God to display His power. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. Every obstacle is a stage for God to shine. He works through the things that seem impossible to show that nothing is impossible for Him. When you are at the end of your rope, when your options are exhausted, when your human understanding fails, that is the perfect moment for God to act. That is the moment when miracles are born. That is the moment when He turns your mourning into dancing, your despair into hope, your silence into praise. God's intervention often comes in unexpected ways. You may be waiting for a person to change, a door to open, or a situation to improve. But God works according to His will, not yours. Sometimes He sends opportunities from directions you did not anticipate. Sometimes He removes obstacles you didn't realize were blocking your blessings. Sometimes He gives you peace in the storm before He gives you victory over the storm. Trust Him even when you don't understand. His ways are higher than your ways, and His timing is perfect. Do not allow temporary hardship to steal your vision. Do not allow momentary setbacks to dictate your destiny. God is bigger than your problems, stronger than your enemies, and more powerful than your fears. He is the same God who created the heavens and the earth. He can also create a breakthrough in your life. He can make a way where there seems to be no way. He can turn scarcity into abundance, weakness into strength, sorrow into joy. The hand of God is not shortened. His power is unlimited. His plans are unshakable. Remember, when God steps in, He does not merely fix what is broken, He transforms it. He does not just restore what was lost, He elevates it. He does not just remove the problem, He provides a solution that surpasses your imagination. What looked like an end is really a beginning. What looked like a defeat is really a divine appointment. What looked like abandonment is really a preparation for favor. God's interventions are never ordinary. They are extraordinary. They are designed to show that He alone is the source of victory, peace, and restoration. Sometimes you may wonder why God allows the storm to continue, why the pain persists, why the delay seems unbearable. But understand this, God does not delay because He is indifferent. He delays because He is perfecting His plan. He delays because He is aligning every detail, every circumstance, every person for your ultimate good. He delays because He is teaching you patience, endurance, and faith. The delay is not a denial, it is preparation. And when God finally acts, the turnaround will be so complete, so powerful, so unmistakable, that all who witness it will recognize His hand at work. Even in your moments of deepest despair, God is present. Even when you feel unseen, unheard, and unloved, God sees you. He knows your struggles, He knows your prayers, He knows your heart, and He is preparing to act in ways that will astonish you. He is preparing doors to open, walls to fall, and chains to break. He is preparing blessings so abundant that you will marvel at His generosity, wisdom, and power. When God steps in, He does not just intervene. He transforms your entire reality. Faith requires patience, but it is never wasted. Trust in God even when the path is dark. Trust in God even when the promises seem distant. Trust in God even when your human understanding fails. Your breakthrough is not determined by your timing. It is determined by God's will. And God's will is always perfect. He knows exactly when and how to turn your situation around. He knows exactly how to bring justice, provision, and peace into your life. He knows exactly how to restore everything that has been lost and more. When God acts, it is never random, and it is never partial. His intervention is complete, undeniable, and eternal. He does not act halfway. He acts in fullness. He does not act for temporary relief. He acts for lasting transformation. And He does not act to prove you right. He acts to reveal His glory. The turnaround you have been waiting for will not only change your circumstances, but will change your life, your perspective, and your destiny. No matter how deep the valley, how dark the night, how impossible the situation, God's power is greater. No matter how many doors are closed, how many plans fail, how many people leave, God's hand is still moving. And when He steps in, everything shifts. What was once broken will be rebuilt stronger. What was once delayed will arrive in abundance. What was once cursed will be transformed into a blessing. God specializes in turning trials into triumphs, challenges into opportunities, and losses into victories. There are seasons in life when it feels as though every door has closed, every hope has faded, and every plan has failed. You may feel like giving up, like the weight of the world is pressing down upon you, like the burden is far too heavy to carry any longer. But listen carefully. It is precisely in these seasons when human strength reaches its limit that God prepares to step in. He is never absent. He never sleeps. He never forgets. And the very moment you feel most powerless, that is the very moment His power is about to be revealed. God's intervention does not come in a whisper of weakness. It comes as a roaring force of divine authority. He does not simply adjust circumstances. He transforms them completely. What once seemed hopeless becomes a testimony of His glory. What once seemed impossible becomes proof of His majesty. The delay, the struggle, the tears, they are not signs of defeat. They are the canvas on which God paints His miracles. When you understand this, you will no longer fear the storms, the setbacks, or the silence, because you will know that God is at work preparing to turn your situation around in ways you cannot yet imagine. There is a powerful lesson in waiting. It teaches you patience, it tests your faith, it strengthens your spirit, and it prepares you to receive the fullness of God's blessing. Too often people abandon their prayers, abandon their trust, abandon their dreams just before God is about to act. Do not let your human impatience rob you of your divine turnaround. Stay faithful. Stay steadfast. Keep your heart aligned with God. Keep your eyes fixed on Him. Because God's timing is perfect. And when He moves, everything changes. God's ways are higher than our ways, and His plans are far greater than what we can see. He knows what is best for you even when you cannot understand the path. He knows which door should remain closed and which ones are ready to open. He knows which people to remove and which people to place in your life. He knows the perfect moment to provide provision, protection, and breakthrough. Trusting God in this unseen work is the hallmark of faith. The kind of faith that stands unmoved in the storm, unshaken by the wind, and unwavering in the night. Every challenge you face, every difficulty you endure, every tear you shed is not wasted. God collects them all. He sees them. He counts them. He uses them. The pain you experience is the very soil in which your blessing will grow. The trials you endure are the furnace in which your character is refined. And the setbacks you face are the signals that something greater is coming. A divine reversal, a miraculous shift, a powerful turnaround that will leave no doubt that God alone is the source of your deliverance. Sometimes God allows situations to reach their breaking point so that His power can be fully displayed. Human effort alone cannot resolve every problem. Human wisdom cannot solve every situation. Human strength is limited, and that is why God waits until every option seems exhausted. So that when He steps in, there is no question who is in control. The very impossibility of the moment magnifies the greatness of His intervention. When God acts, He does not merely make a small adjustment. He brings about a complete transformation. Do not be discouraged by temporary setbacks. Do not be shaken by current circumstances. What appears as delay is not denial. What seems like defeat is not final. God's timing is not dictated by human schedules. His ways are perfect, His wisdom unfathomable, and His plans unstoppable. There is no obstacle too great, no problem too complex, and no enemy too powerful for God. When He decides to act, the turnaround is complete and undeniable. What was lost will be restored. What was broken will be rebuilt. What was delayed will arrive in abundance. It is often in the darkest nights of our lives that God's light shines the brightest. When you feel abandoned, when you feel unseen, when you feel unheard, that is when God's presence becomes most evident. The very moment you sense despair creeping in, God is moving behind the scenes, orchestrating events, aligning circumstances, and preparing to shift everything in your favor. His interventions are not always visible immediately, but they are always effective. His actions may be silent at first, but their impact is eternal. Faith requires action, but it also requires patience. Keep walking in faith even when the path is unclear. Keep praying even when answers are delayed. Keep believing even when circumstances seem contrary. God's favor is not determined by the strength of your effort, the wisdom of your plan, or the timing of the world. It is determined by His will. And when God wills a turnaround, nothing can prevent it. The mountains will move, the chains will break, and the impossible will become inevitable. You may have endured betrayal, loss, and disappointment. You may have carried burdens that felt unbearable, but God has never forgotten you. He has never forsaken you. Every tear has been seen, every sigh has been heard, every prayer has been recorded, and the day is coming when God will step in. And the very situation that brought you pain will become the vehicle of your victory. What others meant for harm, God will turn for your good. What seemed like an end, He will turn into a beginning. What appeared impossible, He will make inevitable. Do not allow fear to dictate your steps. Do not allow doubt to cloud your heart. God's power is greater than any obstacle. His wisdom surpasses every problem. His timing is perfect. The same God who has delivered countless lives before yours is ready to deliver you. He is ready to step in, to turn your situation around, to restore what was lost, to elevate you to places you never dreamed of reaching. The key to experiencing this divine turnaround is unwavering faith. Faith that trusts God even when the storm rages. Faith that believes in the unseen when everything visible says otherwise. Faith that holds fast to His promises when human logic demands surrender. This faith is not passive, it is active. It is a conscious choice to align your heart with God, to declare His goodness, to stand firm in His truth, and to wait for His perfect timing. Every closed door, every ended relationship, every financial struggle, every emotional trial is not the end of your story. These are the moments God uses to position you for breakthrough. They are the instruments He uses to teach you reliance, patience, and obedience. They are the catalysts for transformation, the preparation for promotion, the prelude to your miracle. When God steps in, all that was once impossible becomes possible. All that was once broken becomes whole. And all that was once delayed arrives in its fullness. You must never underestimate the power of God's intervention. When He acts, the results are extraordinary. The reversal is sudden. The provision is abundant. The victory is undeniable. What seemed hopeless becomes hope-filled. What seemed cursed becomes blessed. What seemed impossible becomes a living testimony of God's greatness. His intervention is not just a change of circumstances, it is a transformation of destiny. Keep your eyes on God. Keep your heart aligned with His will. Keep your spirit connected to His power, even when the world says it is over. Even when human wisdom says it is impossible, even when fear whispers that there is no hope, God is already moving. His timing is perfect. His power is limitless. His plans are unstoppable. And when He steps in, your situation will be turned around beyond what you could have imagined. And now hear this with the deepest conviction in your heart. God is not finished with you. Every trial you have faced, every tear you have shed, every moment of waiting has been leading to this very moment of divine intervention. Do not let doubt cloud your vision. Do not let fear shake your faith. The same God who holds the stars in place, who commands the oceans, and who breathes life into creation is the same God who is about to step into your situation. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you cannot know. And He has the power to turn your life around in ways beyond your imagination. Stand firm in the knowledge that God's timing is perfect. When it seems that nothing is changing, know that He is working. When it seems doors remain closed, trust that He is opening the right ones. When it feels like you're alone, remember that He is always present. The very things that seemed impossible, the very circumstances that seemed hopeless, the very burdens that felt too heavy, God will transform them. He will lift you from despair to hope, from weakness to strength, from defeat to triumph. Lift your eyes, lift your hands, and lift your heart. Declare His greatness. Declare His faithfulness. Hold fast to the promise that no situation is beyond God's power. Trust in His wisdom. Trust in His timing, and trust in His love. The storm that rages around you is no match for His hand. The chains that bind you cannot withstand His authority. The darkness that surrounds you will not endure when He steps in. Your turnaround is coming. It might not unfold the way you imagined, but it will be flawless, complete, and beyond question. God will heal. God will supply. God will defend. And He will pour blessings that exceed all expectation. Your life, your situation, your destiny, they are all securely held in His hands. When He moves, you will witness His glory, His strength, and His majesty revealed in your story in ways that will leave you speechless. So remain steadfast in faith, walk with unwavering hope, believe with all your heart, and wait for the mighty hand of God to move and transform your circumstance. Everything once lost, damaged, postponed, or rejected will be restored according to His perfect plan. The victory has already been written, the blessing already set in motion, the deliverance already guaranteed. The God who has never failed will not fail you now. Your miracle is on its way. Your breakthrough is approaching. Your chapter is about to shift. God is intervening. And when He does, your life will be forever changed. Listen closely, for God is speaking to you in ways you might not yet recognize. There comes a moment in the life of every believer, every devoted servant, when familiar doors shut, when storms rise, when nights stretch long and the silence feels unbearable. Yet it is in those very moments, my friends, that God is at work within you. He is arranging every detail of your life, weaving circumstances together, aligning people and places, opening the right hearts and closing the wrong paths. All of it is preparation for a chapter so extraordinary, so radiant, that your human mind can hardly comprehend it. You may feel weary. You may feel overlooked. You may believe nothing is changing. But make no mistake, God is moving behind the curtain, and His hand rests powerfully upon you. I need you to grasp this truth today. The season of preparation holds as much weight, if not more, than the season of fulfillment. The chapter ahead of you is no accident. It is not coincidence or luck. It is divine orchestration. It is designed, crafted, and reserved by God Himself for those who remain faithful in the waiting, for those who endure in the silence, for those whose hearts have refused to become hardened by disappointment and trials. You see, God never prepares someone for greatness without first preparing their heart. He will stretch you. He will challenge you. He will bring trials that feel unbearable. But all of it is purposeful. When God is preparing you, you will notice that your perspective begins to shift. The things that once seemed urgent will lose their power over you. The distractions that once consumed your mind will no longer hold sway. Your vision will become sharper. Your focus will become clearer. You will begin to understand that every delay, every closed door, every setback was not rejection, but redirection. God is preparing you to walk into a chapter so powerful that your own faith will be stretched. But it will be a faith refined like gold, tested by fire, proven unshakable. And let me tell you, those who recognize God's preparation in their lives will not fear the unknown. They will embrace it with courage because they understand that God is faithful to complete what He has begun. Have you noticed how some of the most faithful servants of God have been the most tested? There is no powerful chapter without preparation, and there is no preparation without purpose. God does not act randomly. He does not make mistakes. Every trial you face, every lonely night, every tear that falls is part of His divine blueprint for your life. And while the world around you may celebrate instant success, instant gratification, and easy paths, God's chosen path is never easy, but it is always right. It is always necessary, and it always leads to eternal significance. The first sign, my friends, the very first sign that God is preparing you for a powerful chapter is that your patience is being tested. Yes, your patience. God allows delays not to punish you, but to perfect you. He allows seasons of silence, not because He has forgotten you, but because He is teaching you to trust Him when you cannot see the outcome. Those who grow impatient stumble. Those who remain steadfast are strengthened. The second sign that God is preparing you is the presence of refining trials. When you encounter challenges that seem insurmountable, when your resources are stretched thin, when people disappoint you and the weight of responsibility seems unbearable, that is God shaping you. Every hardship, every setback, every moment of discouragement is a hammer in His hand, shaping your character, molding your spirit, and teaching you resilience. The Scripture reminds us that gold is refined in fire, and so are the lives of those God is preparing for greatness. Do not despise the trials. Do not resent the testing. Recognize it for what it is. God's direct personal work in your life, preparing you for a chapter so significant that the world will see His glory in your story. The third sign is divine alignment. God begins to orchestrate your surroundings to bring the right people, the right opportunities, and even the right circumstances into your life. You may not understand it at the moment. You may not see the connection, but God is arranging your life with precision. He is closing doors that are distractions and opening doors that lead to destiny. Friends, watch closely who God brings into your life. Watch closely where He sends you. Watch closely the timing of every event. There is a divine pattern at work. And those who ignore it, who rush ahead or try to force outcomes, will miss the fullness of what God has prepared. Trust the timing of God. Trust His alignment. He never misses a detail. The fourth sign is the awakening of spiritual discernment. As God prepares you, your spirit begins to perceive things in ways you could never before. You begin to recognize falsehood. You begin to sense danger. You begin to understand wisdom without being taught by man. Your insight grows. Your judgment is sharpened. And this is critical, my friends, because the powerful chapter God is preparing for you will not just require boldness, it will require discernment, integrity, and clarity of vision. Those who step into God's power without wisdom are often destroyed by the very success they sought. But when God prepares you, He equips you to handle influence, to navigate trials, and to impact lives with both authority and humility. The fifth sign is the stirring of purpose within your soul. You may feel restless. You may feel dissatisfied with ordinary life. You may feel a burning in your spirit for something greater, something higher, something that goes beyond comfort and convenience. That, my friends, is God awakening you to your destiny. The restlessness is not a curse. It is a call. It is God saying, I am about to move you into a season where your faith, your diligence, and your devotion will matter more than ever. When your soul begins to hunger for significance and your heart refuses to settle for mediocrity, know this: God is preparing you for a chapter where His power will flow through your life in ways that will inspire, transform, and ignite generations. The sixth sign is the cultivation of resilience. God allows storms. God allows opposition. God allows misunderstanding and rejection. But through all of this, He is building strength in you that cannot be shaken. You will discover that even when circumstances fail, even when people betray, even when everything seems lost, you are unbroken because God has made you unshakable. This resilience is not born of human effort. It is birthed through faith, through trust, and through surrender. And when God prepares a person for a powerful chapter, resilience is not optional. It is essential. You will face situations that demand endurance. You will confront challenges that threaten to overwhelm you. But God's hand will uphold you, and His Spirit will teach you to rise above every trial, every fear, and every doubt. The seventh and final sign is the quiet confidence that cannot be explained. You begin to walk through life with a peace that defies circumstance. You begin to operate with a faith that is unshaken by opinion, unaffected by failure, and unafraid of the unknown. This is the hallmark of one who is prepared by God. The world may tremble around you. Opportunities may be delayed. Challenges may be real, but deep within your spirit there is a knowing, a certainty, a confidence that God is not only aware of your journey, but He is actively leading you into a chapter that will surpass every expectation. Understand this today. Preparation is not passive. Preparation is active faith. Preparation is trusting God when you cannot see, when you cannot feel, when the world tells you to give up. Every prayer you have prayed, every sacrifice you have made, every act of obedience you have performed, it is all being woven into a tapestry of destiny that will reveal itself at the appointed time. And when the time comes, when God finally opens the door, when He unfolds the chapter, you will step forward not as a hesitant child, but as a fully equipped vessel of His glory. Your life will testify of His faithfulness. Your story will inspire nations. Your success will not be your own, but a reflection of the God who prepared you, who strengthened you, and who brought you through every storm to this moment of power. Do not despise the waiting. Do not resent the trials. Do not fear the unknown. God is preparing you. He is equipping you. He is molding you. And if you recognize these signs, if you embrace this process, if you surrender fully to His plan, then nothing can stop the power that God is ready to release through your life. Your faith, your obedience, and your perseverance are the keys that unlock this next chapter. And when God moves, when He acts, the world will see the manifestation of His greatness through you. and your life will shine as a beacon of hope, a testament of divine preparation and proof that those who trust God in the unseen are the ones who inherit the powerful chapters of destiny. Now listen to me, for this is vital as God prepares you for the powerful chapter ahead. He will begin to refine the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you move through the world. There is a transformation that takes place in the heart and mind of the one who is being prepared. Your thoughts, once scattered and restless, begin to align with divine purpose. Your words, once careless or reactive, become vessels of blessing, power, and influence. And your actions, once uncertain or hesitant, now move with confidence because they are guided by the unseen hand of God. You see, preparation is not only about waiting, it is about becoming strong where you were weak, becoming wise where you were naive, becoming courageous where you were fearful. Every trial, every challenge, every quiet season is a divine instructor teaching you to operate at a level that matches the magnitude of the chapter God is about to open before you. You may have felt overlooked. You may have felt small. You may have whispered to yourself, God, why me? Why now? But understand this, God chooses those who seem small to reveal His greatness. He chooses the quiet, the humble, the overlooked, so that when the time comes, no one can attribute the outcome to human effort. It is all Him. The powerful chapter that awaits you is not about human recognition. It is about divine demonstration. God is preparing you to be a living testimony, a beacon that will declare His glory, His faithfulness, and His sovereignty. And there is no room for doubt in this preparation. Doubt will only weaken the faith that God is cultivating within you. Doubt will only slow the momentum that He is building. Reject doubt, reject fear, and embrace the certainty that God's hand is on your life. Let me tell you something else. Preparation often comes with seasons of isolation. God will separate you from certain people, from certain environments, from certain habits that no longer serve the destiny He has for you. Do not resent this separation. Do not grieve the absence. It is divine pruning. God removes what hinders growth so that what remains can flourish. Just as a gardener trims branches to strengthen the roots and improve the fruit, God prunes your life so that your influence, your impact, and your power will reach its fullest expression. You may feel lonely. You may feel abandoned. But in truth, God is near, more present than ever, speaking to your spirit, teaching you patience, and perfecting the qualities that the world will one day admire in you. And listen closely. Preparation is not passive. It is not merely enduring trials or waiting for doors to open. Preparation is active participation with God. It is prayer that moves your spirit into alignment with His will. It is devotion that sharpens your discernment. It is obedience that readies you for responsibility. God is calling you to engage, not to hide. He is calling you to grow, not to stagnate. The faithful in preparation do not complain. They do not curse the storms. They rise above circumstances because they know that the unseen hand of God is orchestrating every detail of their lives. Every act of faith, every moment of perseverance, every choice to remain true in the silence is a seed being planted for a harvest of divine blessing. Consider this. When God prepares a person for a powerful chapter, He tests loyalty. Not loyalty to people, not loyalty to comfort, not loyalty to worldly gain, but loyalty to Him. Those who remain steadfast, those who refuse to compromise their values, those who continue to trust God, even when it seems that He is silent. These are the ones He raises. The powerful chapter cannot be entrusted to a heart that wavers. It cannot be revealed to a spirit that doubts. God prepares you to steward influence, to operate in authority, and to carry responsibility with integrity. And the tests, my friends, are not punishments. They are the proving ground. They are the measure of your readiness. You may also notice a stirring of gifts, talents, and abilities that were previously dormant. God begins to awaken your potential, sometimes in unexpected ways. He calls forth creativity, leadership, and courage from places within you that you never knew existed. Do not underestimate these stirrings. Do not dismiss these longings. They are God's invitation to step into your full potential. But be aware, gifts without preparation can lead to ruin. Power without patience can be destructive. That is why God first prepares the heart, the mind, and the spirit before He unleashes the chapter that will define your life. Let me warn you, some people will try to discourage you. Some will say it cannot happen. Some will tell you that you are unworthy, unready, or too late. Ignore them. They do not understand the hand of God that is upon your life. They cannot see the divine pattern that is forming. They do not feel the stirring in your spirit. But you who have eyes to see and ears to hear, recognize the signs. You recognize the refinement, the testing, the alignment, the awakening, the resilience, and the peace that comes from God alone. And because you recognize it, because you trust it, nothing they say can derail the chapter that God is preparing for you. Now hear me clearly. The preparation that God is orchestrating is not merely for personal success or comfort. It is for divine purpose. The powerful chapter is not just about wealth, influence, or position. It is about impact, legacy, and obedience. God is preparing you to carry light into darkness, to bring hope where there is despair, and to be a testimony that declares without a shadow of doubt that those who trust God in the unseen, who endure the refining fire, and who remain steadfast in faith will inherit the power and the glory that He has reserved for them. And the timing, oh, the timing of God is perfect. Not early, not late, but exactly when you are ready. The signs, my friends, may not always be dramatic. They may not always come with fanfare. Sometimes preparation comes in quiet, almost imperceptible ways. It comes in answered prayers that are delayed, in doors that close softly, in nights of reflection, in moments of solitude, in whispers of intuition that guide you away from danger and toward purpose. Be vigilant, be alert, be attentive to the voice of God, for He is speaking, He is guiding, He is preparing. And when the time comes, you will look back and see that every season of waiting, every tear, every challenge, every moment of doubt was a thread woven into the masterpiece of your destiny. And I tell you this with conviction, there will come a day when the powerful chapter that God has been preparing you for will begin to unfold. And you will walk into it with confidence, clarity, and courage. People will marvel at the transformation. People will wonder how you endured, how you persevered, and how you remained faithful. But you will know the truth. It was God. It was God who refined you. It was God who aligned you. It was God who stirred purpose in your soul, strengthened your resilience, and gave you peace that surpasses all understanding. And that, my friends, is the testimony of preparation, the glorious proof that those who trust God in the unseen inherit the fullness of His power in the revealed season. Hear me, beloved, for there is a secret in the life of those who are being prepared by God. Preparation often comes through silence. There are moments when you will pray and it will seem as if your cries disappear into the void. You will wonder if God has heard you, if God has seen your struggle, if God has remembered your faithfulness. But let me tell you with certainty, God is never silent without purpose. In the silence, He is working. In the stillness, He is orchestrating the next move. In the pause, He is aligning every detail of your life, positioning you for a chapter that will surpass anything you have imagined. Do not despise the silence. Do not grow weary in waiting, for it is in the quiet, when no one sees and no one applauds, that God is shaping strength, endurance, and character within you. And understand this: God often uses ordinary circumstances to prepare extraordinary servants. You may feel small, overlooked, or insignificant. You may serve in the shadows, unnoticed, unrecognized, and uncelebrated. Yet those who are prepared for greatness often start in humility. The powerful chapter that God is preparing for you is not built on pride, arrogance, or self-promotion. It is built on obedience, on faithfulness, and on a heart fully surrendered to His will. He will refine your motives. He will test your loyalty. He will stretch your patience. And when the time comes, you will walk into influence and authority, not because of who you were, but because of who God has made you to be. You will also notice, beloved, that God's preparation often comes with trials that seem unfair, with challenges that feel overwhelming, and with opposition that appears relentless. But take heart. The very things that the enemy intends for harm, God will use for your good. Every difficulty, every setback, every betrayal, every closed door is being woven into the fabric of your destiny. God is teaching you endurance. He is strengthening your faith. He is proving that your trust in Him is not dependent on comfort, convenience, or the approval of men. Those who embrace the trials, who rise above the storms, and who remain faithful in the unseen are the ones God raises into prominence when the time is right. Let me declare this to you boldly. God prepares those who embrace humility. He favors those who seek His guidance above human counsel. He elevates those whose hearts are pure, whose motives are right, and whose focus is on fulfilling divine purpose rather than chasing worldly applause. You will find that as God prepares you, He will remove distractions. He will prune relationships that lead you away from His path, and He will redirect your energy toward the vision He has placed within your soul. This is a sign of preparation. If you are experiencing separation, if doors are closing, if you feel a disconnect from the familiar, it is God realigning your life. He is not punishing you. He is protecting you. He is preparing you. And listen carefully. Preparation by God is also about awakening. There is a stirring within your spirit, a sense of urgency, a burning for something more. You will begin to see life differently. You will begin to hear truth with clarity. You will begin to recognize deceit, manipulation, and falsehood around you. Your discernment will sharpen. Your intuition, guided by God, will lead you away from danger and toward divine opportunity. This awakening is a hallmark of those whom God is preparing. It is God's way of ensuring that when the powerful chapter begins, you will walk with awareness, integrity, and spiritual authority. God's preparation also teaches gratitude. You may not yet have the breakthrough. You may not yet see the manifestation of your prayers, but God is teaching you to trust Him anyway, to honor Him in the small things, to remain faithful when reward is absent. Gratitude in the season of preparation is a mighty weapon of the Spirit. It brings your heart into alignment with the will of God. It allows you to see blessings that were once hidden. It builds the faith you need to endure until the appointed hour. And when God unveils the next chapter, you will walk into it with humility and awe, understanding that every blessing flowed from His mercy, His direction, and His perfect timing. I must also speak to you about the power of resilience. God shapes you for great chapters by teaching you to withstand what others cannot, to rise when others fall, and to hold steady when the world gives up hope. Resilience does not come from your own strength. It is born from divine empowerment. It flows from a deep knowing within your spirit that no matter the circumstance, God remains faithful. No matter how impossible it looks, God is able. And no matter how long the waiting lasts, His timing will always prove perfect. The resilient are not hardened by life. They are refined. They are strengthened. They are equipped to handle the responsibility, the influence, and the impact of the powerful chapter that awaits them. And there is another sign, beloved, that God is preparing you, a deepening of faith. Your faith will no longer be shallow or conditional. It will not be shaken by circumstance, discouraged by delay, or diminished by doubt. It will be a faith that stands firm even when storms rage. A faith that moves mountains without question. A faith that trusts God when there is no visible path. This faith is cultivated in preparation, nurtured in obedience, and proven in perseverance. It is the unshakable foundation upon which the powerful chapter is built. Without it, the chapter would crumble. With it, you will move mountains, overcome every obstacle, and experience God's power in ways that exceed imagination. Understand also, beloved, that preparation often requires sacrifice. God may call you to give up comfort, convenience, and even relationships that are not aligned with His plan. He may call you to walk alone, to labor in silence, to trust without visible reward. But the sacrifice is never wasted. It is the soil in which God plants seeds of divine favor, breakthrough, and destiny. Those who are willing to surrender, to endure, and to remain faithful, even when no one is watching, are the ones who are entrusted with the powerful chapter. And finally, know this preparation is purposeful, precise, and personal. God is not preparing you for someone else's story. He is not preparing you for someone else's destiny. He is preparing you for your unique chapter. A chapter that will display His power, His wisdom, and His glory in ways that no one else can. The trials, the lessons, the awakening, the resilience, the discernment, the faith, they are all crafted for you alone to equip you for a moment that is yours and yours only. And when that moment comes, you will step forward, not by human strength, but by divine empowerment. You will walk into your destiny with authority, with courage, and with the unwavering knowledge that God has prepared you, sustained you, and brought you through every storm to the place of prominence and purpose that He intended from the beginning. Beloved, hear me now. One of the greatest signs that God is preparing you for a powerful chapter is the stirring of courage within your soul. You will find yourself facing decisions that demand boldness, confronting challenges that require steadfastness, and stepping into situations where the natural response would be fear. But God is working within you to replace fear with courage. This courage is not human bravado, it is divine empowerment. It is the quiet but unshakable confidence that God is with you, that He has equipped you, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, can prevent the unfolding of the chapter He has reserved for your life. Those who possess this courage do not stumble when the world trembles. They do not shrink in the face of opposition. They do not falter when the path seems unclear. They move forward with God as their guide, their protector, and their source of strength, knowing that the preparation they endured was not in vain. And listen closely. Another sign that God is preparing you is the refinement of your vision. As you walk through seasons of waiting, testing, and growth, your eyes begin to see differently. You begin to distinguish between what is temporary and what is eternal. You begin to recognize the distractions that divert your energy and the opportunities that align with your destiny. God is awakening insight within you, allowing you to perceive His plan in ways that surpass human understanding. No longer will you be swayed by the opinion of the crowd or distracted by what seems appealing but is unproductive. You will see clearly, decide wisely, and act boldly because God is preparing you to operate in the fullness of purpose with precision and clarity. Pay attention also to the stirring of your spirit towards service. God prepares those who are destined for greatness by cultivating a heart that desires to bless, uplift, and empower others. You may notice a growing sensitivity to injustice, a burden for the oppressed, a longing to bring hope where despair reigns. These stirrings are not accidental. They are the fingerprints of God upon your soul. The chapter that awaits you is not solely about personal gain or recognition. It is about divine impact. God is preparing you to be a vessel through which His mercy, wisdom, and power flow, touching lives, inspiring faith, and leaving a legacy that will endure beyond your lifetime. The season of preparation teaches generosity, empathy, and the value of integrity, so that when God unveils the chapter, you are ready to lead, to guide, and to serve with authority and humility. And remember this, preparation often comes with moments of testing in solitude. There will be times when your faith is stretched, when your patience is tested, and when your heart longs for comfort or reassurance. In these solitary moments, God is drawing you closer, teaching you to rely not on people or circumstances, but on Him alone. He is shaping your character, cultivating resilience, and building strength that cannot be shaken. Those who endure these seasons alone, trusting in God without wavering, will emerge with a faith fortified by fire, a courage tempered by trial, and a vision sharpened by clarity. The solitude is not abandonment. It is refinement. It is the secret laboratory where God molds champions, leaders, and servants capable of handling His power without being consumed by it. You will also discover that God prepares you through unexpected provision. You may not always see the source, you may not always understand the timing, and you may not always recognize the method, but God is orchestrating resources, relationships, and opportunities that are perfectly suited for your next chapter. Sometimes provision comes subtly, a word of encouragement at the right moment, an unexpected door that opens, or a connection that changes everything. Other times it comes dramatically in ways that cannot be ignored. The point is this: God's preparation is precise. He does not leave anything to chance. Every element, every person, every circumstance is calibrated to equip you for the moment when your chapter unfolds. Recognize these signs, receive them with gratitude, and act with faith, for God's provision is proof that your preparation is nearing completion. And let me speak to you about hope. Yes, hope. True. Unshakable hope is a sign that God is preparing you. Even when circumstances appear bleak, even when storms rage, even when doors seem closed and opportunities scarce, hope continues to burn within you. It is the quiet voice of God whispering in your soul, "I am with you. I am preparing you. I will bring you through." Hope is not naive optimism, it is spiritual certainty. It is knowing that every trial, every delay, every hardship is purposeful, and that God's timing is perfect. Those who cling to hope, who remain steadfast in their trust, will find that when God's chapter begins, it will unfold with unstoppable momentum, unstoppable blessing, and unstoppable power. Another sign of preparation is the awakening of wisdom. God does not release power without equipping you with discernment. He does not hand you influence without teaching you prudence. He does not elevate you without cultivating judgment. As He prepares you, your mind will begin to perceive patterns that were once hidden. You will understand strategy where before there was confusion. You will know how to act decisively, how to avoid pitfalls, and how to navigate complex situations with grace and authority. This wisdom is a gift from God cultivated in the fire of preparation, and it ensures that the powerful chapter is not squandered, but fully realized in accordance with divine purpose. Pay attention also to your persistence. Those whom God is preparing refuse to give up. They may falter, they may struggle, they may face discouragement, but they rise again and again. Persistence is the hallmark of preparation. It is the proof that you are willing to endure, to remain faithful, and to trust God even when progress seems slow. Every small act of steadfastness builds momentum for the powerful chapter that is to come. God honors persistence. He blesses endurance, and He rewards those who remain faithful in the unseen, who act in faith when the world doubts, and who refuse to surrender to fear, despair, or complacency. Beloved, hear me clearly. God's preparation is never hurried, and it is never random. Every season, every moment, every circumstance is intentionally designed to shape you into the person who can handle the power and responsibility He has planned for your life. There is a divine rhythm at work, a perfect timing, and a precise alignment that only God understands. You may feel frustrated by delays. You may question why the doors have not yet opened, why the vision has not yet manifested, why the prayers you poured out seem unanswered. But understand this: God is not delaying, He is perfecting, He is preparing. And the season you may perceive as stagnant is in reality the laboratory of your destiny. One of the most profound signs of preparation is the awakening of discernment in relationships. God will teach you to recognize those who truly align with your purpose and those who are obstacles in disguise. You will learn to navigate alliances with wisdom, to guard your heart against those who would mislead you, and to embrace connections that elevate, inspire, and propel you toward your destiny. This discernment is not learned in comfort. It is cultivated in trials, in testing, and in the careful observation of human character. Those who heed God's guidance in relationships will find themselves surrounded by allies who amplify their influence and support the unfolding of the powerful chapter He has prepared. Another sign that God is preparing you is the development of spiritual resilience. Life will challenge you. Yes, but God uses these challenges to teach you endurance that cannot be broken by circumstance. You will face opposition, betrayal, and setbacks. But through each test, God strengthens your spirit. You will rise from disappointment with renewed faith, face adversity with unwavering resolve, and emerge from trials with courage that cannot be shaken. Spiritual resilience is the backbone of preparation. It ensures that when the powerful chapter arrives, you are ready to sustain influence, withstand pressure, and navigate complexity without losing sight of God's hand at work. Pay attention also to the refinement of your character. God does not prepare a person for power without first cultivating integrity, patience, humility, and a heart devoted to truth. These qualities are forged in the fire of experience. You will encounter situations where cutting corners seems easier, where compromise appears tempting, and where pride may whisper for control. But the one who submits fully to God's preparation resists the temptation to stray. Your character becomes the vessel through which God's power flows. And it ensures that your chapter is not just powerful, but righteous, impactful, and enduring. Beloved, notice how God often uses periods of scarcity to prepare abundance. There will be times when resources feel limited, when support seems distant, and when hope feels fragile. But these seasons are intentional. They are designed to teach you reliance on God rather than on human provision. They are designed to awaken creativity, faith, and tenacity within you. When the powerful chapter finally unfolds, you will look back and see that what you endured was the crucible that equipped you to manage abundance wisely, to steward influence responsibly, and to operate with gratitude and humility. The scarcity was never a punishment, it was preparation. And listen, God awakens purpose within the heart of the one He is preparing. You will feel an inner pull, a stirring of destiny that will not allow you to settle for mediocrity. It is a longing that will drive you forward, a vision that will not fade, a conviction that will not be silenced. This is God stirring within you the awareness that you are meant for significance, that your life is destined to impact others, that your story is part of a larger plan that extends beyond your imagination. When you recognize this stirring, embrace it. Do not bury it. Do not ignore it. It is a divine invitation to rise, to prepare, and to walk into the chapter He has reserved for you. Another hallmark of preparation is the cultivation of spiritual clarity. You will begin to perceive life through the lens of divine purpose. Choices that once seemed confusing become obvious. Paths that once seemed uncertain reveal themselves with clarity. God is teaching you to discern truth from falsehood, opportunity from distraction, and destiny from detour. This clarity allows you to move decisively, act courageously, and embrace the opportunities that align with your calling. It ensures that when the powerful chapter begins, you will step forward with confidence, unencumbered by doubt, and guided by the wisdom that comes only from God. Pay attention as well to the deepening of faith that occurs in preparation. Your faith will no longer be superficial or reactive. It will be unwavering and proactive. It will remain steady in the face of storms, unshaken by adversity and unafraid of the unknown. God strengthens your faith through trials, tests, and periods of waiting. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, each delay a lesson, and each moment of uncertainty a chance to trust more fully in God's power. Those who embrace this deepened faith will walk into their powerful chapter with spiritual authority, inner peace, and the unshakable certainty that God's plan cannot fail. Let me tell you, beloved, that preparation also cultivates a heart of gratitude and reverence. Even in difficulty, those who are being prepared will learn to give thanks, to honor God in all circumstances, and to recognize the lessons hidden in every trial. Gratitude keeps the heart aligned with God. Gratitude strengthens faith. Gratitude ensures that when the powerful chapter unfolds, it is met not with entitlement or arrogance, but with humility, purpose, and an awareness that every blessing, every opportunity, and every breakthrough is a direct result of God's faithfulness. And finally, beloved, one of the most profound signs that God is preparing you is a growing anticipation, a spiritual expectancy that cannot be quenched by doubt or fear. You will sense that something greater is coming, that the chapter ahead is filled with purpose, and that God's timing is perfect. This anticipation fuels perseverance. It motivates faithfulness. It strengthens courage, and it keeps your eyes fixed on God, even when the path seems unclear. A mighty season is drawing near, and those who stay alert, faithful, and obedient will be prepared to enter it fully equipped, fully strengthened, and perfectly aligned with God's divine purpose. Beloved, never overlook the sacred work happening in your preparation. Do not disregard the lessons learned in silence, the trials that test your faith, the shifts that align your path, or the refining that molds your character. Every step is purposeful. Every trial is meant to fortify you. Every delay is a divine setup for your perfection. And when that appointed time arrives, oh, when it finally arrives, you will walk into a season that is not only extraordinary, not only victorious, but divinely anointed. A season that reveals God's unmatched wisdom, perfect timing, boundless mercy, and mighty power. A season that will lift hearts, awaken faith, and transform lives. A season that will boldly proclaim that those who trust, endure, and obey God in the unseen are the ones who step into the fullness of His promises. My friend, take a breath and be still for a moment. God is whispering to your heart right now, relax. Everything you've been hoping for is already on its way. The prayers you've spoken, the answers you've longed for, the peace your soul has been craving, all of it is unfolding beautifully under His perfect timing. You've wept, you've wrestled, you've waited, and maybe at times it felt like heaven was silent. But God has never overlooked you. The delay was not rejection, it was preparation. What's written for you cannot be erased. And what's meant for you will arrive right on schedule at the exact moment God has appointed. There are seasons when everything feels motionless. You pray, yet nothing shifts. You give your best, but doors stay closed. You watch others receive blessings while you keep waiting. But here's the truth that changes everything. God never overlooks those who stay faithful through the waiting. You might think nothing is happening, but God is behind the scenes, aligning every detail, preparing every opportunity, softening hearts, moving mountains you cannot even see. The silence of God is not the absence of God. It is the space where your faith is tested, stretched, and strengthened. So many people panic in the waiting. They lose their peace when they can't see the plan. But God never asked you to understand everything. He asked you to trust Him. Faith doesn't mean you will see the path clearly. It means you keep walking even when you can't see beyond the next step. And when you feel weary, when you feel like giving up, remember this: God did not bring you this far to abandon you now. He has a purpose for every delay, every disappointment, every door that closed in your face. Sometimes God closes doors not to punish you, but to protect you from what could have destroyed you. When God says relax, He's not telling you to stop working. He's telling you to stop worrying. He's saying, rest in me. Stop trying to control what only I can handle. Stop carrying burdens that I never asked you to carry. Stop replaying what went wrong and start trusting what I am making right. The moment you surrender your fear to God, peace begins to flow like a river into your soul. That's why peace is not found in control. It's found in surrender. You see, many people pray but never truly release. They say, God, I trust you. But in the next breath, they worry again. They pray for an answer and then panic when they don't see it instantly. But true faith says, God, I trust your timing more than I trust my impatience. True faith says, even if I can't see it yet, I know it's already in motion. When you believe that everything God promised will come to pass, you stop striving and start resting. You stop chasing and start trusting, because what belongs to you will never miss you, and what's meant for you won't go to someone else. Sometimes God will even let certain things slip away from your hands because He knows you deserve better. You may think you lost something important, but God sees the full picture. You didn't lose it. You were saved from it. That person who walked away, that opportunity that didn't work out, that plan that fell apart, it was all part of the divine rearrangement. God had to move some things out of your life to make room for what's coming next. Don't cry over what He removed. Rejoice over what He's making space for. There will come a time when everything will make sense. You'll look back and say, now I understand why that had to happen. Because what feels like a setback now is actually the setup for your next breakthrough. When God says relax, He means that no power on earth can stop what He has planned for you. You don't need to chase what's already written in your destiny. All you need to do is remain faithful, obedient, and at peace. Because anxiety never speeds up God's timing. It only drains your spirit. God is saying to you, calm your heart. You've worried enough. You've cried enough. You've stressed enough. Let me handle what you can't. Your sleepless nights will turn into peaceful morning. Your confusion will turn into clarity. Your tears will turn into testimonies. Because every storm runs out of rain, and every delay runs out of time. God's promises don't expire. They manifest when your faith matures. The enemy loves to whisper that nothing is changing, that you've wasted your years, that you've missed your chance. But he's a liar. You are not behind. You're right on schedule with God's plan. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. When it feels like nothing is moving, remember that roots grow in silence. Before a tree stands tall, it grows deep underground. Before your blessings rise, your foundation must be strengthened. God is rooting you in faith, so when the blessings come, you'll have the strength to carry them. You see, the waiting is not wasted. It's in the waiting that God teaches you patience. It's in the waiting that He teaches you surrender. It's in the waiting that He molds your character, purifies your motives, and prepares your heart to handle what's coming. Because what good is a blessing if your spirit isn't ready for it? God doesn't just want to bless you. He wants to build you. He wants to shape you into the kind of person who can carry His favor with humility, not pride. There's a peace that comes when you realize you're not in control, but God is. The moment you stop fighting the process and start flowing with His plan, you find rest. You realize that you don't have to beg God to bless you. He already planned to. You don't have to convince God to open doors. He already prepared them. You just have to trust that everything that belongs to you will arrive at the exact moment you're ready to receive it. So breathe, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that God is in charge. You don't need to rush what He's already written. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You don't need to panic about how or when things will happen. God's timing is perfect. When the time is right, everything will fall into place so beautifully that you'll stand in awe and say, only God could have done this. The blessings you've prayed for, the healing you've longed for, the peace you've searched for, it's all coming your way. Not by force, not by manipulation, not by luck, but by divine orchestration. God knows exactly how to bring what belongs to you into your life. He knows who needs to walk in, what needs to align, and what needs to end. You don't have to chase. He will cause it to come to you. When you stay in peace, you stay in position. God doesn't want you to live in panic. He wants you to live in peace. He wants you to wake up in the morning with confidence that something good is on its way. He wants you to go through your day knowing that even if you don't see the full picture, He's already painted it. The same God who parted the sea, who fed the hungry, who calmed the storm, is the same God working in your situation. The same hand that holds the universe holds your future. That's why you can relax. You can rest knowing that the one who made the stars is guiding your steps. You can rest knowing that every delay serves a divine purpose. You can rest knowing that God has already written the final chapter and it ends in victory. You may not understand the path you're walking, but you can trust the one who laid it before you. There comes a time when your soul must learn to rest, even in uncertainty. That's what God is trying to teach you right now. When He says relax, He is not ignoring your pain. He is inviting you into His peace. He is saying, let go of the struggle to understand everything, because I already have everything under control. You see, faith doesn't grow in comfort. Faith grows in chaos. Faith grows when you stand in the middle of a storm, yet your heart refuses to panic, because deep down you know God still reigns. The world might shake, people might fail, but the hand of God never trembles. His timing never falters. His purpose never collapses. Sometimes you have to sit still in the middle of your worry and declare, God, I trust you even when I don't see how. Because trust is not built on explanations, it's built on revelation. And the greatest revelation you can ever have is that God knows what He's doing even when you don't. He doesn't owe you details. He offers you peace. The same God who made the sunrise without your permission will fulfill His promise without your understanding. You may not see the logic, but you will see the result. When you're anxious, you're trying to live tomorrow while still standing in today. But when you trust God, you learn to rest in the present moment, knowing that He's already in your tomorrow preparing the way. He has seen your tears. He has heard your prayers. He knows your worries before you even speak them. And because He knows you don't have to carry them anymore, you were never meant to live heavy. You were meant to walk in faith. There's a reason God tells you to be still, because movement without direction leads to exhaustion. Many people wear themselves out trying to make things happen before their time. They push doors that were never theirs to open, and they force relationships that were never meant to last. But when you trust God, you stop striving for what He has already promised. You understand that divine timing cannot be rushed. What is ordained by God will arrive precisely when it's meant to, not a minute sooner, not a second later. That's why you must not mistake waiting for wasting. When God makes you wait, it's because He's building something within you that can sustain what He's about to give you. If He gave you everything you prayed for too soon, it might destroy you instead of bless you. So He waits until your heart is strong enough to handle His goodness. He waits until your character is shaped enough to carry His favor. And when He sees you are ready, He releases what was already yours. You see, the journey itself is a divine classroom. Every delay is a lesson, every disappointment a teacher, every closed door a redirection from God. You might not like the process, but the process is preparing you for the promise. The pain that once confused you will one day make sense. You will understand that God never took anything from you that was meant to stay. He only removed what was hindering what's ahead. The moment you stop fighting His process, peace floods your spirit. Relax. Because God is not limited by what limits you. He can use what you thought was your biggest mistake and turn it into your greatest miracle. He can take what broke you and make it the foundation for your breakthrough. He can bring beauty out of ashes, strength out of weakness, and purpose out of pain. What seems like an ending to you might actually be the beginning of something sacred that only God could orchestrate. He is the master planner. Nothing in your life is random. Every person you met, every trial you faced, every door that opened and closed, each was part of a divine pattern leading you exactly where you need to be. So when things don't make sense, stop asking why and start saying, I trust you, God, because the why belongs to the past, but trust belongs to the future. You don't need to know everything to walk in peace, You just need to know that God is faithful and His faithfulness never expires. The same God who provided for you yesterday will provide for you again. The same God who healed you once can heal you again. The same God who lifted you before will lift you higher than you've ever been. Relax because you're not running out of time. God is aligning your time. You may feel like life is passing you by, but the truth is, God is reserving something better for you. Sometimes He delays not to deny you, but to deliver you from settling. He wants you to have the best, not just what's available. You may think you're ready, but God knows when the season is right. So while you're waiting, praise Him in advance. Worship before you see the result. Thank Him not for what you have, but for what's coming. Because gratitude in the waiting invites miracles into motion. There's a peace that comes when you stop chasing what's not yours. So many lose sleep over things that were never written for them. But when you learn to release control, you step into divine flow. The doors that are meant for you will open without you knocking. The opportunities that are designed for you will find their way to you even if you're hidden. God doesn't need your anxiety to bless you. He needs your obedience. He doesn't need your panic. He needs your peace. Because faith and fear cannot live in the same heart. The enemy knows this, which is why his greatest weapon is not destruction, but distraction. He tries to make you doubt God's timing, to make you compare your life with others, to make you question if you're forgotten. But remember this truth. The enemy attacks hardest before the breakthrough. The moment you feel the most pressure, the most confusion, the most silence, know that something is about to shift. God always brings clarity after chaos, light after darkness, peace after the storm. So when everything feels uncertain, lift your head high and whisper, "I will not be shaken, for God is working on my behalf." Even when you can't trace Him, you can trust Him. Even when you can't see His hand, you can feel His presence. And when He finally moves, it will happen so suddenly that you'll forget the years of waiting. Every tear you cried will become the water that nourishes your harvest. Every delay will turn into divine acceleration. Every no you heard will make sense when God's yes arrives in full power. Relax, because God has a way of doing things that no human mind can comprehend. He can turn the heart of a king, move the course of a river, change the direction of a wind, all to favor one obedient soul. He can position you in the right place at the right time, before the right people. You don't need to chase influence. You need to chase peace. Because when you're at peace with God, you walk in alignment with destiny. You start attracting what was already meant for you. And let me tell you this, what is meant for you will never miss you. You can't lose it. You can't ruin it. You can't mess it up when you're walking with God. Because God's blessings are not dependent on your perfection. They're dependent on His plan. Even when you make mistakes, He weaves them into the story. Even when you fall, He turns the fall into foundation. You may feel broken, but broken pieces still fit in His masterpiece. Sometimes before God blesses you, He has to quiet you. He silences the noise around you so you can hear His whisper. He slows you down so you can walk in step with His rhythm. Don't mistake stillness for stagnation. When God stills your spirit, it's because He's aligning your heart. He's preparing you for the blessings that require maturity, discipline, and faith to sustain. When you relax in faith, you make room for miracles. Anxiety clutters the soul. But peace creates space for divine flow. God works best in hearts that are still not in hearts that are scattered. So calm your thoughts. The same God who painted the stars in the night sky and commands the ocean's waves knows exactly what you need. He knows where your provision will come from. He knows who will help you. He knows when to move. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. God's eyes have been on you since the beginning. Every step you took, He was there. Every time you fell, He was there. Every time you doubted, He still believed in the destiny He placed within you. That's why He's telling you, relax, because the fight is almost over. The season of pressure is turning into a season of purpose. The confusion is giving way to clarity. The pain is giving birth to power. You don't need to force what God is about to release. The blessing will come quietly, naturally, and powerfully. It will feel effortless because you're no longer fighting against the flow. You're moving with it. You'll wake up one day and realize the prayers you once cried over have become your reality. The very things that once worried you will no longer move you. Because when you've seen God's hand move in your life, fear loses its grip forever. There is a sacred calm that comes when your soul truly surrenders to God. It is not weakness. It is power under divine control. When you stop wrestling with your own timeline and start flowing with His, life begins to align in ways you never thought possible. What once seemed delayed begins to make sense. The confusion turns into clarity. And what once felt like rejection reveals itself as redirection. God's hand was never against you. It was guiding you. The pain that broke you was the tool He used to shape you into someone who could carry more light, more wisdom, more peace. When God says relax, it's all coming your way, He is inviting you to see life from His higher view. You see, we look at life through the lens of fear, but God sees through eternity. You see only what's in front of you, but God sees every path that connects your beginning to your blessing. What you call a setback, He calls a setup. What you think is a loss, He knows is protection. There are people who left you because God heard conversations you didn't. There are doors that closed because what was behind them could have destroyed your peace. There are opportunities that slipped away because they were traps in disguise. God's no was not cruelty, it was mercy. And when you realize this, you stop mourning over what didn't work and start praising God for what didn't happen. You may think your life is slowed down, but God is never in a hurry and He's never late. His timing is not measured by your clock. It's measured by your readiness. And when He decides the moment has come, nothing can stop the blessing. Not time, not distance, not people, not even the mistakes of your past. Because when God declares something for you, it becomes law in the spiritual realm. No force can revoke what He has decreed. That's why you must walk in peace, because your destiny is already sealed by His promise. You see, when you panic, you're saying you don't trust His control. When you relax, you're declaring your faith in His sovereignty. That's why peace is not a sign of weakness. It's a declaration of strength. Anyone can panic, but only a soul anchored in God can be still while the storm rages. Anyone can complain, but only the faithful can say, I don't see it yet, but I know it's coming. That's the posture that moves mountains. That's the faith that invites divine acceleration. Do not think God has forgotten you. The silence you feel is not abandonment, it's strategy. When God is quiet, it's because He's working on something too great for you to see right now. You don't dig up a seed every day to see if it's growing. You water it. You trust the process. And you wait for the fruit. That's how faith works. You planted prayers, and though you don't see anything above the surface, something powerful is happening beneath. Roots are growing deep beneath the surface. Foundations are being fortified, and when the moment arrives, the harvest will overflow so powerfully that every doubt you ever held will be silenced. Some of you are weary because you've been fighting battles that were never yours to fight. You've been trying to mend what only God can restore, forcing open doors that only He can unlock. You've been praying, yet still worrying, believing, yet still questioning. It's time to release it, not as surrender to defeat, but as surrender to divine hands. There's a peace that comes only when you whisper, God, I'm done trying to control this, but I trust that you can. That's the moment heaven begins to move. God waits for your release before He brings your release. So rest, because the favor written for your life is already pursuing you. The right people are being positioned, the right doors are being shaped, and the right timing is falling perfectly into place. You don't need to compete or compare. Comparison is the thief of contentment. You're not behind anyone. You're walking your own divine schedule. The path that God designed for you cannot be measured against anyone else's timeline. Someone else may have reached their season before you, but your spring is coming. And when it does, it will make sense why you had to go through every winter. Sometimes God withholds what you want to give you what you need. He delays certain things to teach you to depend on Him, not on outcomes. Because if He gave you everything you prayed for the moment you asked, your faith would remain shallow. But by waiting, you learn endurance. By enduring, you learn strength. And by standing firm, you become unshakable. That's how God grows champions. Through pressure, through patience, through persistence. The blessings that last are the ones built through testing. You must understand this. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of God in the middle of them. You can have chaos around you, but still be calm within. Because when your faith is rooted in God, storms lose their power to shake you. You may bend, but you won't break. You may weep, but you won't quit, because deep within you know God is still writing your story. The enemy can attack, but he cannot alter what God has already ordained. When God says relax, He is calling you to stop living in reaction to fear and start living in response to faith. Every time you choose peace over panic, you're declaring that your trust is not in circumstances, it's in God. Every time you refuse to complain and instead say thank you, you are lining yourself with the rhythm of blessing. Gratitude attracts favor. Worry repels it. So guard your thoughts, because the battlefield is always in the mind. You see, your thoughts create your atmosphere. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear will follow. But if your heart is filled with trust, peace will surround you. That's why God often removes noise before revealing destiny. He separates you from confusion, from distraction, from people who drain your spirit. Sometimes isolation is not rejection, it's preparation. God pulls you aside so He can pour into you privately what will elevate you publicly. So don't curse the quiet season. It's where your power is being born. The reason God tells you to rest is because He's about to show you His strength. You've done all you could. Now it's His turn. You fought, you tried, you pushed, but now He says, stand back and see what I can do. When you stop striving, God starts working. When you surrender, He releases. When you let go, He steps in. You were never meant to carry this weight alone. The hands that form the mountains are more than capable of holding your burden. Relax, because no mistake is too great for God to redeem. No detour can cancel destiny. Even the things you regret can be recycled into purpose. God wastes nothing. Not your tears, not your trials, not your pain. Everything you've been through is being woven into something beautiful. The road that broke you is the same one that will bless you. The places that wounded you are the same ones that will witness your recovery. That's how God works. He turns mourning into strength and ashes into wisdom. Sometimes you won't understand what He's doing until it's done. But when it's done, you'll be overwhelmed by how perfectly everything fit together. The people who left, the moments that hurt, the seasons that seemed unfair, all of it was necessary to bring you here. Because before God brings abundance, He brings alignment. Before He blesses your life, He blesses your vision. He wants you to see clearly that everything you need is already written in His plan. There is something sacred about peace that cannot be shaken. It is not the calm of a quiet world. It is the calm of a grounded soul. It is the strength to remain steady when everything else trembles. That is the kind of peace God gives to those who trust Him. It does not come from money. It does not come from people. And it does not come from success. It flows from surrender. When you release your plans and say, God, I'm tired of trying to control what only You can do, that's when peace begins to rule your heart. That's when you stop striving to make things happen and start witnessing how beautifully God was already arranging everything for you. When God tells you to relax, He's not calling you into laziness. He's calling you into faith. He's saying, stop worrying about what's out of your hands, because it's already in mine. You can rest, not because life is easy, but because God is faithful. Even when you can't see progress, progress is happening. Even when it feels like you're standing still, your faith is moving mountains. God does not need to show you proof to confirm His power. He simply asks you to trust that His power is always at work. Sometimes God hides what He's doing so you can learn how to trust Him in the unseen. It's easy to believe when you see results, but it takes true faith to believe when all you have are promises. And let me tell you, God's promises are never empty. They are alive, breathing, and waiting for the moment to manifest. You may not see the evidence yet, but every prayer you whispered, every tear you cried, every step of faith you took, they're all recorded by God. Nothing goes unnoticed. Not one moment of faith is wasted. You are not forgotten. You are not being ignored. You're being refined. You're being prepared for something greater than you asked for. And when the time comes, it will not just be a blessing, it will be a testimony. Because the way God will bring it to you will leave no room for doubt that it was Him all along. He will make it so clear that even your enemies will have to say, that was the hand of God. Relax, because God is not limited by what you see. You may see emptiness, but He sees abundance. You may see walls, but He sees doors. You may see loss, but He sees transformation. God never leaves you with less. He replaces what was lost with something far more meaningful. That's why you can't mourn over what left. Something better is on the way. The space that feels empty now is being reserved for something divine. Do not let fear dictate your future. Fear is loud, but it is a liar. It screams that you'll fail, that you're behind, that it's too late. But God whispers truth, and His whisper carries more power than the world's noise. When you focus on His voice, peace returns. Fear fades, or you start realizing that nothing can stop what God has already ordered. You start walking differently, calmly, confidently, purposefully, because your steps are guided by a hand that never misses a turn. Sometimes God allows delays to test the weight of your trust. He wants to see if you'll still praise Him in the middle of uncertainty, if you'll still thank Him when nothing makes sense, if you'll still stand tall when everything feels unstable. That's when your faith becomes unshakable, because anyone can trust when life is smooth. But true faith is proven when life hurts, when your heart says, "I still trust you, God." Even with tears in your eyes, heaven moves on your behalf. Every test you've been through, every challenge you faced, every dark night you endured, it all has purpose. Nothing in your life has been random. Even the pain that you thought would destroy you was the very thing that deepened your strength. God allowed it not to harm you, but to mold you. He's not preparing you for an ordinary life. He's preparing you for a life that carries His power, His wisdom, and His peace. There will come a time when everything you prayed for will show up all at once. The blessings will come so effortlessly that you'll look around and realize you didn't have to fight for them. They found you, because God's favor doesn't require force. It flows naturally to those who trust His process. You don't have to chase it, compete for it, or manipulate anything to receive it. You only have to stay in alignment with God's peace, because peace is the environment where His power moves. So many people miss their blessings because they live in panic. But when your soul is still, you start hearing divine direction. God speaks clearest to peaceful hearts. He gives ideas in quiet moments. He gives wisdom in silence. He gives strength in surrender. When you slow down, you realize that every step you take is already being ordered. You don't have to figure it all out. Just keep walking in faith. Relax, because God never forgets the faithful. He remembers every seed you've planted, every prayer you've whispered, every sacrifice you've made in secret, and at the right time, He will reward you openly. The same God who watches sparrows fly knows exactly what you need, exactly when to give it, and exactly how to bring it. You may think you're waiting on God, but many times God is waiting on you to stop worrying, to stop controlling, to finally rest in His plan. There's a beauty in resting. When you rest in faith, you're saying, "God, I know you've got this." You stop striving and start living from a place of confidence, not confusion. You begin to see that peace is power. You start noticing how the right things find their way to you without you forcing them. Doors open naturally, conversations flow easily, and opportunities appear unexpectedly. That's the rhythm of divine order. Everything begins to fall into place when your heart is aligned with God's timing. God is not a God of confusion. He is a God of clarity. He doesn't need to rush. His timing is never off. While you are waiting, He's arranging. While you are praying, He's preparing. While you are hoping, He's building. Every unseen movement, every invisible shift, every quiet alignment, it's all working for your good. You may not understand how, but when it happens, you'll see that it couldn't have happened any other way. And when that moment arrives, when the blessing finally manifests, it will carry peace with it. Because what comes from God does not bring chaos. It brings calm. You'll know it's from Him because it will fit your soul, not force your spirit. It won't make you anxious. It will make you grateful. That's how God blesses, with precision, with purpose, and with peace. So today, let your heart exhale. Let the tension leave your shoulders. Let the worry leave your mind. You are not running out of time. You are walking in divine time. Everything meant for you is on schedule. And every delay is serving a greater plan. God's hand is on your story. His wisdom is in your steps. His protection is in your path. You have nothing to fear because nothing can stop what He has ordained. When you live with that truth, you start to carry a quiet confidence. You smile in storms. You stand tall in trials. You remain calm when others panic because you know who is in control. You know that your peace is not built on the absence of problems, but on the presence of God. You know that when He says relax, He's not suggesting that things will get easier. He's promising that you'll get stronger. Stronger in faith, stronger in patience, stronger in trust. And one day soon, you'll look back on this season and realize it was never a delay. It was divine preparation. You'll thank God for the lessons, for the silence, for the times you were forced to wait. Because waiting built your wisdom, pain built your peace, and patience built your power. Everything was leading you to this truth. When God says relax, it's because He's already made the way. It's all coming, my friend. Every prayer, every promise, every piece of your destiny, it's all moving toward you. So stop worrying, stop striving, stop fearing. Just breathe, just trust, just rest in the assurance that God never fails. You are on the verge of something beautiful. You are stepping into what was always meant for you. The storm is ending. The clouds are breaking. The light is rising. And in the stillness of your soul, you'll hear it once more. God saying, relax, it's all coming your way. And now, as you stand at this sacred edge between where you've been and where God is taking you, remember this: peace is not the end of your journey. It is the power that carries you through it. Every struggle, every silence, every sleepless night had a purpose. It was God teaching you how to rest while He works. It was God strengthening your faith so that when the blessing arrives, you will no longer panic. You will no longer fear. You will simply trust. Because you will know deep in your spirit that everything that ever tried to shake you was preparing you to stand unshaken. You are not the same person you were when the storm began. You have learned what most never learned: to stay still in the presence of chaos, to smile in uncertainty, to keep your peace when the world loses theirs. That is divine maturity. That is what it means to walk with God. You no longer chase, you attract through trust. You no longer beg, you believe. You no longer break down, you bow down. And God lifts you higher than before. So don't be afraid of what's coming next. Don't linger in the shadows of what's already gone. Keep your heart steady in the truth that God is still crafting your story, and His hand never slips. What appears to be delayed is only being prepared. What seems lost will return in greater measure. What feels shut will open at the appointed moment. You are walking in divine alignment, and nothing on earth can interfere with what heaven has ordained for your life. So let peace be your foundation. Let gratitude fill your words. Let faith set the pace of your every step. When the world's noise grows heavy, close your eyes and remember, God is still in charge. You don't have to figure out the how. You only need to trust the one who knows. The same God who carried you through yesterday will lead you through today and hold you through every tomorrow. In every believer's journey, there are moments of peace and clarity where God's presence feels near, guiding and comforting your steps. Yet when confusion lingers and peace seems absent, it may be a signal that something deeper is stirring. You wake each morning with